Hello, everybody. Very well, welcome to you all. I sent in a message in the chat saying that we're going to start as soon as many people join in 5 minutes. So I think that time is up, and you can feel free to turn on your cameras when you're ready. We are starting now. So I wish you a very warm welcome to this OD event. The main theme is unlocking the immense potential for girls in this digital generation. I am Brenda Tani, I'm your host. I am joined by a series of wonderful ladies as well. We have Mambo Joy, we have Merve Unga, we have Kinta Sandrine, we have Bemsi Kuo, we have Miki Lemnyoy, we have Kalis Rishiti, and we have our wonderful OD co-founder as well, Christina Kohlberg. So yes, you are all very, very welcome to these amazing OD events. We hope that you're going to leave with, a lot of, package after this. If you have, if I would say like a key message that you must take home is that every single lady has the potential and the power to mold their own future. Many people don't believe they're depending either on the government or on people or on friends or on family or on fathers or mothers. You have the potential yourself and the power to mold that future of yours, and as well to drive change in your spheres of influence and in the world at large. So yes, that's our major theme. We'll be talking on a few other key themes on girl power and abilities, on planning and organizing for a fulfilling future, on believing in yourself, on development and safety, taking advantage of the digital innovation and social media, and leadership as well. So take your seats, you can grab some water or coffee, and yes, we're going to have a very nice time. We will have a question and answer session at the end of this. So 15 minutes time question and answer session. Feel free to jot down your questions while the speakers are talking. Feel free to, maybe even type it in the chat. We'll read them. And yep, I think we are ready to go now. Well, once more, I'll just reintroduce myself for those that are just joining in. A few people just came in. I am Brenda Tani. I am a medical doctor, a general practitioner by training. I also just currently finished the MSc International Health and Tropical Medicine at the University of Oxford. So I'm a Cameroonian from Cameroon who got the ability to study this International Health and Tropical Medicine course, so public health related course at Oxford. I'm currently in the UK, but yeah, I've done lots of work in the past, first of all, with governmental organizations and the government as well, and NGOs that seek to curb maternal mortality, malnutrition, death to infectious disease in Cameroon. And yeah, as well, abroad, I've been able to work with a good number of organizations that, my public health specialty. And yep, I am very glad to be your host today. We will be moving quickly to the very first presentation. It's going to be by Mambo Joy on girl power and abilities. We all know that, from other examples in our past, from other examples in history, that girls have the ability to, the potential within them. And Mambo Joy is going to be talking a lot more about this right away. She is an OD fellow. She is currently in India, in Janjari in India. And yes, I hand over to you, Joy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Brenda. So straight away, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so as Dr. Brenda rightly said, I'm called Mambo Joy Cho. I'm a grad student in computer science engineering at Chandigarh Group of Colleges, Janjeri in India. I'm an Open Dream Scholar. I'm also the Premier Dev team member. I was a country director for Premier Dev before leaving the country. So straight away, I'll be talking on the topic girl power and abilities. So here we're going to be having an introduction. What do we mean by power and abilities? What is girl power and ability? Then we are going to look at some various subtopics under girl power and abilities, such as some powers and abilities of a girl, limitations to the manifestation of abilities, and BU. Then for the question and answer session, we are going to have them at the end of all the presentation. So for my introduction, what do we mean by power and abilities? Power is the possession of control or authority over others or things. Power is that influence we have over anyone or over anything. That ability to make anything or anyone subdue to you, that is power. Ability are those possessions of a means or skill to do something. They are those various things you have in your hands that you can use to create whatsoever. So those are the definitions of power and abilities. So what is girl power and ability? It's the possession of the means and skills by which the young female gender can take control or have authority over situation, people, and things in order to obtain a goal. That is girl power and ability. You know, those various means, those various skills, those various but excuse me, those various potentials in a girl, which the girl can use to take control or authority over situations and things. Excuse me, I'm really not so good in health, that's why. So girl power and abilities. Okay, so I'm going to highlight some of the powers and abilities of a girl. That's those potentials girls have within them, which they can use to take control of any situation they find themselves in, to take control of any arena they find themselves in, you know, in order to possess authority wheresoever they find themselves. Girls, the first one is effective multitasking. The female gender has the ability to do so many things at a particular time. They can be cleaning, at the same time they are cooking, at the same time they are studying, and they will have all of that done so well. They can even be doing laundry at the same time cooking, and they are not going to miss anything or have anything go wrong. It is just within them. It's an innate factor. So it's one of their potential, one of their strong power which they have. If we look at the male, when they're thinking about something, they keep their minds focused on that thing till it gets done before they move to the next. But the lady has the ability to think about her kids at home, think about her job, think about everything at the same time and still have everything going on. Oh, when I get home, what am I going to cook? Oh, when I get home, I have to do the laundry. Oh, when I get home, I have to cook, especially in the African society. We the young girls, when we go to school, we know when we come back, we have to help our parents cook, we have to help them clean, we have to help them take care of our younger ones. We have all that going on in our minds while being in class, and we still have the ability to succeed in class. That's because we girls, we have that potential, that ability to effectively multitask. So one of the powers we have is effective multitasking. Another is negotiation. That's networking professionals. That's how I call the females. We have the ability to convince someone to buy our ideas. We have the ability to meet people and talk with them and negotiate just whatsoever and have it working for us. We may just have that within them. It's very simple. They just need to smile, they need to pitch what they have, and they get the ball rolling. It is one of their soft skills they have within them. They have that ability to negotiate anything. I realized this while working for 7GPS in Cameroon. While I was there doing my internship and also as a junior developer, whenever we had to pitch an idea, being the only female at that time in the office, the only female engineer at that time in the office, I was always placed ahead. And one day I was curious. I asked them why. They say you just have it within you to do the negotiations and for people to buy the ideas. You have the ability to just meet someone new and you discuss with the person and you get the ball rolling. So we, the ladies, we have it within us. Another skill is nurturing. Whatsoever you give the female gender, they know how to make it grow. They It's just within them. They are mothers to anything. They are mothers to humans. They can just make anything grow. Even in an enterprise, when you put a woman as a manager, a woman who is focused, you're going to see growth. They just have the skills of growing, making anything grow around them. It's within all the ladies. So they have the skills to nurture. It's a power for the girls to nurture, to make anything grow. They can expand their friend zones at any time. They can reduce it. They know how to measure anything. That's why you see ladies with more friends than males. You always say, oh, I'm going to meet my friend. And the male gender will be like, how many friends do you have? That's because the ladies just have the skills to nurture, to grow, to expand. It's within them. They are brilliant opportunists. That's how I'm going to put it. Brilliant opportunists. They know how to see opportunities and harness them. Whenever a lady who is focused sees an opportunity, they know how to go for it. They use their other skills, put them in collaboration, and just move forward. They don't care. They are ready to take the risks as long as they can gain what they have to gain. So they are opportunists. They are so brilliant in doing that. It is a power within them. It's an ability within them. They are resilient. You know, a lady can be going through pain. I admire this in mothers. They are going through pain, but yet they want to give birth to that child. No matter how painful it is, they are feeling the labor pain at that time, they still want to give birth to that child. That is the same for all ladies. No matter the pain they are facing in a situation, they are ready to be resilient, they're ready to resist till they bring forth the goals, till they bring forth their goals, actually. That is one thing with a woman, their resilience, they're very resilient. Advocacy. Women love advocating. Like, just from within them, when they see a conflict, they always step in to advocate. Someone once told me the person who holds a home, it's the lady, because she knows how to bring the peace. She knows how to become soft and just bring peace around her. So when you see a home going up in flames, know the woman herself is not ready to bring the peace into that home. That's to show women have the power to advocate for anything. They are good mediators, actually. They can always stand in the middle and bring two extreme ends to a compromise. It's one of the skills they have within them. There are so many if we have to go on, but due to my time, these were the six I really love to highlight about the abilities of a girl. Now, despite all these abilities, the girls are still limited in manifesting their abilities. We don't feel them out there. We don't see the power they have within them due to various reasons. And one of those reasons, one of those reasons is ignorance. The girls are ignorant about who they are. They are ignorant about what they have within them. They are ignorant about what they carry. They don't have a knowledge about the power they have within them. They don't have the knowledge about the abilities they carry within them. So they are so ignorant. And that's one thing which is limiting their manifestation. Till the girls can come to an understanding of the power and the abilities they have within them, there is no way it can be manifested. Another is fear. There are some girls who actually know they can do this. They actually know I can advocate. They actually know, oh, I'm good at negotiating. They actually know, oh, I am good at multitasking, but yet they are just scared. They are afraid to take it up. that's one of their limitations. They are not taking it up not because they are ignorant, but because they are afraid. They have fear within them. Another is culture. There are some ladies that are just being limited by their culture to take up their ability, to showcase their abilities, to bring forth the power within them. Their culture puts them at a position where they don't have a voice. Their culture puts them at a position where they cannot show for who they are. Their culture puts a stereotype on them. It hinders them with its status quo. So they cannot show for those abilities and power they have within them. And they are limited in that case. They are unable to speak out. They are unable to manifest those powers within them. Another is comfort zone. Some ladies are just comfortable where they are. Some girls are just comfortable where they are, that they don't want to go out of there to showcase their power. A girl might be in the position to do a negotiation, but knowing that it's going to take her some time of studies, knowing it's going to take her some time to understand it, they just decide to be like, oh, I don't want to spend my time doing this. And by so doing, they don't take that up and they become limited. There are some girls that are born to be leaders. They have all these abilities to put them out there to be leaders, but just they don't want to maybe what we'll say burn the midnight candle. They don't want to give in their best because they are comfortable where they are. They don't want to leave where they are to get to a zone where they will keep working. They don't take up that. They don't manifest what they have within them. To others is their network. When I talk of the network here, I mean those around you, the kind of peer they keep hinders the manifestation of their abilities. As someone rightly said, your net worth is your network. The kind of network you have will determine the net worth you're going to have. If you have a network where the people are constantly thinking about a change, how to bring a positive change, definitely you yourself, you are going to start thinking of how to bring a change. They say if you hang around the barber shop for too long, you might end up having your hair cut. So those who stay around them for so long will influence the manifestation of your abilities. Some will influence you in a positive way, others will influence you in a negative way. So that's one of the limitations to which girls are unable to manifest this power and ability they have within them. Now, I would like to tell those here tonight, be you. Be the girl who is challenging. Be the girl who is daring. Be the girl who is outgoing. Be the girl who is constantly looking for the solution to a problem. You have all the skills needed to be a solution to a problem. Maybe there could be a problem of a vulnerable community not being able to speak up because of what they are going through. Be that girl who is going to speak up for that community. Be you. Do not let those around you bring you down or tell you are limited. No, do not let culture limit you. Don't let fear limit you. If you're ignorant, search to know, search to find the skills you have within you, search to find the abilities you have within you, and let them manifest. The world is waiting for you to manifest yourself. All those who are speaking tonight, when I look at them, these are girls who are daring, they're outgoing, they're manifesting. They are girls who are winning. You know, there are girls standing out there, girls winning awards out there. They are giving in their best daily. They are being themselves. They are putting themselves out there for other ladies to see as examples. They are putting themselves out there for the world to see. They are changing the status quo. They are challenging their culture. They're challenging their community. And they are standing for what is right. And they are building. Be you. Show forth your ability, show forth what you can do. That is what people want to see. I think my elder brother once told me, show me what you can do, and I'm going to invest in that. So be you, show what you can do. And I'm going to conclude with this quote. It was a quote I watched on Aquila and the Bee, and it actually originated from Marianne Williamson that says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? We are born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do so. So young girl, as you let your light shine, as you pave the way, you unconsciously give other people the opportunity to do that. There are so many people looking up to you, but you just have to be yourself. So we are going to take questions and answers at the end. And I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so very, very, very much, Joy. That was a wonderful session. You reminded us about, the fact that girls have the skills, the abilities is already within them. There is no, excuse. Some people say, oh, they are depending on this, on that, on parents, on the government and all. It's already within you. What are you doing about what you have as potential? Take advantage of them. Don't relent. Don't rely on others. Don't, wait for forever. Awake to your skills and abilities, and yes, you'll be able to achieve the limitless goals as Joy has just mentioned. So we'll be moving quickly to the next speaker. Speakers, please, I'll be signaling on the chat when your time is coming up, so you can just be watching so you can see when your time is actually coming up so you don't exceed. The next is going to be Merveille Mungang. She is going to be talking about planning and organizing for a fulfilling future. Merveille Mungang is an OD scholar. She's presently in Quebec. She's the president of Quebec Black Medic Association Youth Initiative there in Canada. She's studying a BSc and an MSc in Canada. And yes, she's one of our OD scholars, and we are very proud of her. She's going to be talking, as I said, about planning and organizing for a fulfilling future. A very, very warm welcome to people that just joined in while the first speaker was speaking about girl power and abilities. Our key message is, every girl has the potential and ability and power within them to, mold their future, their destiny, and even drive change within their spheres of influence and the world at large. So yes, I'm your host, Brenda Tani, and I have a series of guest speakers, including our OD co-founder, Christina Kohlberg. She's been writing comments on the chat. She's going to talk about what Open Dreams is very soon, why we exist, a few successes and our goals. So over to you, my dear Merveille. You have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing amazing. As amazing host Brenda rightly said, my name is Merveille, and I'm an Open Dream scholar from Montreal, Canada. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be on this panel today to discuss the importance of planning and organizing for a fulfilling future within the context of our celebrations for the International Day of the Girl Child. All right. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start off by wishing all the amazing women on this panel today and all those who are watching us, or anyone, all the girls and women in the world, happy International Day of the Girl Child. I feel like it's important to sometimes take time to acknowledge and celebrate ourselves. Without any further ado, I'm going to start on the presentation. So as we all know, humanity bears witness to the injustice that women have had to put up with since the dawn of times. Being a girl or a woman sometimes means having no wings to fly, no voice to speak up for ourselves, or having to put up sketchy little smiles to conceal hurt, frustration, and sometimes even trauma. But the good question that we might be asking ourselves is, how then do we outgrow our fears? How do we outgrow our socially and historically constructed lines of identity? How do we elevate ourselves to living truly fulfilling lives? How do we break those glass ceilings? How do we just keep going when every single social construct wants to stop or slow our progression or to silence us? How do we defy the odds? So these are some of the questions that we're going to try to answer during this presentation. And hopefully by the end, we would have some elements of answers and how to approach these very pivotal interrogations. I feel like stopping and reflecting over all of this made me realize that the answer is actually right within us. Embracing a femininity and turning those weaknesses into strengths is where the element of answer is. And for that, I genuinely believe that I believe in using our personal narratives, positionalities, and intersectionalities as women, as girls, to shape and impact the world around us. So how do we do that? The very first thing that came to mind was finding a purpose. You know, you can't plan a life, or you can't organize life or have goals when you don't come back within yourself to kind of find your why. Why would you do that? What is going to be that thing that's going to keep the flame burning? What's going to be that thing that's going to keep you moving, that's going to keep your motivation up? So, and it's kind of like, it's a wide question. How do we find that purpose? There is no one fits all method, but I thought it would be a good place to share this with you, this concept. I've been using it for years now, and it's really helped me find those elements of answers, how to unleash my potential, how to ask myself the right questions, and how to trigger the right reactions from myself and elicit the right responses from society around me as well. So I'm going to introduce you all to the Ikigai concept. It's a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. I feel like all girls, regardless, all women, regardless of where we come from, the race, regardless of our social status, regardless of religion, regardless of beliefs, we all have that one thing in common. We are women, we are weak, as they say, and we have that historically constructed identity, which we carry as a weight on our shoulders. So how do you find that reason for being? How do you find that reason to outgrow all the fears, outgrow all the no's that society has told you? You're not enough, you're not going to be able to do that, you're just a woman, you're the fairest sex. You know, there's a lot, we've been hearing all of these phrases, all of these microaggressions, but how do we outgrow those? So the Ikigai concept is actually, if we want to go to the etymology of the word, Iki in Japanese means life, and Gai means value. So I feel like this is a very central concept, as it doesn't just mean finding the value in our lives, but finding how to add value to other people's lives as well, how to live lives of values, both for ourselves and for our societies. The central principles of the Ikigai concept is your passion, your mission, having a profession, and finding your vocation. And it's believed that you can find your purpose easily if you follow these 4 pillars. So the first thing would be, what are you good at? What are you good at? And what would you want to see yourself doing in the future? So like, these are good questions that every girl, every woman should ask yourself. And it's not just when you're younger or at the beginning of a career, it's at any point in time. It's never too late to start over, or to introspect, or to redefine the direction that you want to give your life. So finding that intersection between your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession is important. Even if you don't yet have a profession, if you're still a student, that's already great. You're on the right direction. And it's only at the intersection of these 4 that you can be able to like identify that zone of purpose. And so the first things would be like your passion. What are the things that light fireworks in your mind? What are the things that make you want to stand up and just go get it? What are those things that make you just that you genuinely love and that you want to do that? Because the world would be so much a better place if we used what we love and what we are good at to change it. Sometimes we because of the societal pressures, we get into areas or professions that are not just meant for us. My mom said she wants me to become an engineer, and that's what it's being, regardless of what I'm good at, or will I be able to explore my full potential in that? These are the questions that you would want to be asking yourself. My society expects that at 17 I go into a marriage and have kids because that's what I'm meant for. That's what they said. But is it what I really want? Is that all the value that I can bring to the world? But again, if you just focus on your passion and what you want to have as profession, you're going to be doing what you're good at, but you're not going to be satisfied because you'll be having that feeling of uselessness. Is it all just doing what I love and doing what gives me money? Is it all what is I'm meant to do? Is it all what I can bring to the world? What is the value that you can add? This is where your mission, identifying and like actually writing down, journaling can be a good way. Write down your mission. What do you feel like? What does the world need? And how do you find that mission? By asking yourselves what the world needs and how you can contribute to it. Because regardless of the stages in which we are at in life, we have that potential to change the world. If we can't change the big world, we can change at least our world, and our world is part of the big world, and it's going to have an incidence on the future. So yeah, that's it. It's actually like for me, this helped me a lot to understanding and finding the intersection between what I love, what I'm good at, what I can be paid for. Because as a woman, you also have a lot of like pressure to at the same time be the mom, at the same time sometimes be the entrepreneur, be the business owner. You have to bring money to the table. Yeah. So there are these. So it's actually important to reflect on what you love, what you can be good at, what are your core competencies, how did you turn that into something that can generate income for yourself, and how do you use all of these and translate this into something that's going to make meaning for other people and add value to other people's lives? So yeah, this is it. This is what I wanted to share for today. For time constraints, I won't be able to elaborate as much as we could, but we might have other opportunities to do that in the future. But for today, I want to speak to all those women out there, all those girls that listening to me. You are immensely talented. You are capable beyond measure. And all what you need to do is just believe. And the answer is right within you. Sometimes we're waiting for that sign, for that outward light, but you have an inner light that shines within you, and you can spread it to the world. And yeah, so I hope this is going to be useful. Just keeping this concept, or maybe keeping this like little like bubble you're seeing here has changed my life several times, because at some point we fail. Sometimes we are disappointed, we're frustrated, and we can't find that reason to keep on anymore. So coming back to the central idea of our purpose and our why is instrumental, and it helps us to keep going.
Thank you so much, Merveille. That was a wonderful presentation. I mean,
my pleasure, Brenda.
If you have to leave with something, just remember this saying, this Japanese concept, ikigai, which is the reason for being, and which is, a summary of what she's mentioned in looking at your inner passions, your missions, your vocation, your profession, and yes, just believing in yourself. And that leads us to the very next presentation, which is going to be done by Kinsa Sandrine. She's going to be talking about believing in yourself. Sometimes you see others doing and you're like, would I, is it even possible? Maybe it's meant for others. It's not maybe something for me. believing in yourself is one, I mean, it's a very important block that has prevented people from being what God had even planned for them, for being even more or doing even more, exceeding their potential. Sometimes you think it's not for you, it's for others and all, but yes, Sandrine is going to be coming up to talk about believing in yourself, believing in that ability within you, that God-given ability within you that Joy just spoke about, that Merve just from speaking about. And for those that have questions, there'll be a Q&A session at the end of this. I've been seeing hands go up. Just keep your questions, write them down, and they will be answering them. We also have our co-founder in the house, Christina Kuhlberg, that will be talking to us about what Open Dreams is, why we exist, a few successes, our goals. And yes, I'm your wonderful host, Brenda Tani, and this is a message for the ladies. We had our International Day of the Girl Child not too far ago on Tuesday or Wednesday, the 11th. And yes, it's the theme for this Zoom webinar is unlocking the immense potential for girls in the digital generation. So yes, Sandrine, you can just take the floor. Sandrine is an amazing student doing the MSc in aerodynamics in Moscow, Russia. She's part of the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. And yes, Sandrine, you have the floor.
Thank you, Brenda. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, awesome. I haven't got a lot of time, so I'll try to rush this and stay within the time limit. So I'll be talking to you about believing in oneself. My name is Sandrine, and I'm privileged to be part of this panel. So believing in oneself. Have you ever felt like you're meant for something more than your prescribed life? What do I mean by prescribed life? We have prescriptive gender stereotypes. We're talking in like the concepts of what we're celebrating today, which is the Day of a Girl Child. Generally, there are like lots and lots of jobs and careers, and not just jobs, many domains that are stereotypically gendered. For example, nursing and teaching for girls, and you find that it's accessible for guys to do engineering and building and manufacturing and so on. Even within certain domains, like medicine, there is further gender segregation. Like ladies should specialize in stuff like pediatry or gynecology, while the guys should go for like the tough stuff. The dramatic specialties, cardiology, neurology, and so on and so forth. So what happens is we generally get discouraged to get into certain professions because they have been stereotyped, and we stick to those professions that are meant for girl child. And therefore we stay in this safe and comfort zone. So I'm here to tell you about how to grow, to talk to you about growing out of your comfort zone. Usually we have this inner voice. If you're in touch with your inner self, there's an inner voice that will tell you, hey, I want to do more in this field. I want to do more in this domain of life. I want to go towards this. If you listen to this inner voice talking to you, it's positive, but it could be very silent, because for every positive inner voice, there are tons of negative inner voices telling you, oh, you can't. Nobody has done it. Who are you? You're a girl. Like, come on, don't dream. And you can pitch your ideas to your friends, your families, members, your mentors. And sometimes they'll not tell you straight up that, no. They might just go around it and say, I'm not sure this is for you, but you're sure that there's something within you telling you you should do more in this field. Now, if you decide to listen to this inner voice, if you decide to say yes, which you can either choose to either say yes to this inner voice or ignore it, but it's our duty to listen to our inner voice and follow it, because it's only when we listen to our inner voices that we become our truest selves. So when we decide to say yes to our inner voice, we can't downplay the work that is necessary for to follow this vision. Of course, it's not like I wake up today and say I want to be a firefighter, and I hear, okay, firefighting is for guys, so I'm just, okay, I want to do it, and because I don't care if so guys, I'm a girl, but I want to do it. It's not as easy as, okay, it's a 5-year program, and I mean, on paper, after 5 years, I should be done with the program and become a firefighter. No, it's not just moving from point A to point B. Of course, you'll be faced with tons and tons of obstacles. But the important thing is that if we say yes to our inner voices, we must have the courage to stick to the vision throughout the process to the end, because it's definitely going to be tested. Now, talking about the courage to stick to the vision, that brings me to self-confidence. What is self-confidence? Self-confidence is what is going to give us this courage to stick to the vision. It is a belief that I can, the belief that you can do something, the belief that you can achieve whatever the inner voice is telling you. And it's a skill that everyone needs. It's a skill that all girls need, boys as well, but we're talking to girls today, so let's keep it a girl. So it's a skill that we all need. And I call it a skill because it can be built. You can build self-confidence like every other skill. Let's say, for example, if you're trying to become a professional basketballer, the first sessions you're put in the pitch, you're not so confident, of course, because you don't really know much about basketball. You're going to make a lot of foolish errors, maybe wrong passes, not because you don't know how to throw the ball or make a pass, but because there's a crowd and you're not confident in your skill. What do? You go, you practice, and you get to a stage where no matter the number of people watching you at home, abroad, everywhere, you're so confident, you don't make stupid passes or stupid errors. So self-confidence, like a skill, like every other skill, can be built by one, repetition, practice and practice and practice. Now, bringing it to context, I want to be a firefighter. When you finish going through your studies and everything, what happens is that you start applying for jobs and stuff like that. When you start applying for jobs, of course, like every other person we look up to, all the big people, Elon Musk, think about it, name them, even your mentors that you know around you, they did not get it after the first try. They tried over and over. Some people tried up to thousands of times. If you listen to some of those famous people, listen to the stories. The important thing is that at every failure, you don't bail. Because when we are faced with adversity because of our humanity, not because of our humanity, because we're not weak, because we're not strong enough, we're not courageous enough to stick to our vision, we bail at every adversity. So the point here is that we practice, we develop self-confidence. It's a practice process. So you got denied today, you don't give up, you stand up and face the next obstacle. You keep trying, you can get it after the 1,000th, you can get it after the 10th. The important thing is that you have the courage to stick to that vision. And now that also brings me to the point of failures. Like a lot of times it's important to interpret our failures positively. If you fail and you decide to self-sabotage and say, oh, you know what? Everybody said it's not for me. I'd rather give up now early than later, because if I give up later, I'll be wasting more time. So I just give up now. That's self-sabotaging. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. No, that's not what we're going to do. That's not what we need to do. When we fail, we learn from it. We look at it, interpret it positively. Okay, I didn't get the job. Who got the job? What did that person do that I did not do? So I step on my game. So the next time, maybe I'll make it to the second stage of the interview. Out of 5 stages, I might get rejected, but guess what? I'm learning throughout the process. When you fail, failure is knowledge, if interpreted positively. Important. And next, we have positive self-talk. It's cliche because everybody says, yeah, it's positive self-talk, but I'll tell you also that it works. It has worked for the best of people, and it still works for those people we look up to and think they have their lives put together. But no, it's not like that. Some days you wake up, you just feel like, you know what, I'm not getting where I'm supposed to be. I'm talking of even the famous people that you and I we look up to. They don't have every day, they don't wake up saying, you know what, I did it, I've achieved. No, there are days when they're down. So it's very important to practice self-talk. We see videos circulating on social media of teachers writing affirmations for their children. So the kids come in the morning, they have to read affirmations to themselves, saying stuff like, I am beautiful, I am great, I am, those are positive self-talks that we need to practice as adults. You can write affirmations, you can put it down in writing, write affirmations, put them on your mirror, remind yourself every day that you can. And you leave from a point where you just stop saying it, I can be a firefighter, to where you actually read those words and be like, I can be a firefighter. You stop just saying it to when you start actually believing it. These things work crazy and very well. And sometimes you might need to remind yourself that you can, on those days when you're really down, by thinking of the things I've already achieved. Just think of the things you've achieved so far. And, you know, little as they may be, they give you courage. And then you just press a pat on the back and say, you know what, I've been doing great. So my time is up, but let me just summarize real quick. I'm sorry. First of all, we've spoken about like the inner voice, the positive inner voice that we need to listen to. We have to listen to because it's our duty. And I'm trying to hear is mixing up the thoughts. Okay, it's our duty to listen to inner voice to be our truest selves. Number one. Number two, it takes a challenge to listen to the inner voice. But guess what? We're up for the challenge. We can do it. Number three, we need self-confidence. How do we build it? Repetition, resilience, persistence. And then we need positive self-talk for ourselves, even for the people around us. Next, first of all, failure. No, not first of all, but next we have failure. Failure is important. It's important to interpret our failures positively. Failure is knowledge, and failure is an intricate part of our growth, an intricate part of us chasing our dreams. Last but not the least, most importantly, you should know that if you do not believe in yourself, nobody will believe in you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I think, I mean, she deserves a powerful clap. All the speakers tonight have been awesome. I mean, I am also getting inspired as I listen to them, and it's wonderful. Particularly, I like what she said about, you know, putting affirmations on the walls, on places where you want to be looking at every day, and like, you can do this, you can become that firefighter, or etc. It's really wonderful. And practicing, you know, not bailing out whatever the failure, just keep moving forward. I have so many accounts of friends that for example, I met in Oxford, that said they tried and they finally got in there. So well, I have so many examples, but time is keeping me short. So we'll just move on, and then we can talk a lot more during the QA session, or you know, later on. So yes, we'll be moving to the fourth speaker, Bemsi Kuo. She's going to be talking about girl development and safety. Bemsi Kuo is an amazing lady, an OD scholar that is currently doing a major in entrepreneurship and a minor in psychology as an undergrad in the USA. Please, my dear Bemsi Kuo, just take the floor, and we are listening.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Oh, you have to make me co-host.
I think it's Mr. Akaba for the to make her co-host so she can share, please.
Yes, I'm on it right now.
Thanks.
We just forgot her. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead to talk about the program that we're having for those that have just joined. It is about unlocking the immense potential for girls in this digital generation. We have a series of speakers that are talking about different things: power and ability, planning and organizing yourself, believing in oneself, development and safety is the next, and then taking advantage of the digital innovation world, the social media, and yes, over to you, Bemsi Kuo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so good evening, afternoon, morning, everyone, and I'm going to be talking on girls' development and safety. So a quote I want to start this with is: self-care is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. So pulse check. I want everyone to drop in the chat how they are feeling now and what are the expectations for this presentation. Due to time crunch, I'll just have to go to my next slide, and you can drop how you're feeling in the chat right now. So, yeah. So my name is Bemsi, and I'm from Fundong. I grew up there from when I was born to when I was 11 years old. And then I went to St. Bede's College and I studied. And while living in Fundong, I knew about the systematic injustice in my country, like patriarchy, gender inequality, and all this stuff, but it never clicked. It was my reality and was the norm of the day. I didn't know it was a problem. And so when I was in high school, I read a book titled Nervous Conditions by Siti Dangarembga, and it shed light on the importance of women being emancipated. And this is when this was my aha moment. I was like, oh, wow. So this is a problem that actually needs to be fixed and actually needs addressing. And so I read more about empowerment, feminism, and all this stuff. And I was also in an abusive relationship. And these changed. And I did everything I thought a girl is usually supposed to: be submissive, be passive, don't see anything, say yes to everything. And it didn't work out. So I was like, oh, wow, if everything my society told me to do isn't actually working out, what should I do now? What does my future hold for me? And so I educated myself through social media. I follow people like Oprah, Michelle Obama, all this stuff, and I got inspired by them. And I decided to follow my passions, dreams, and aspirations. So my mission for today, like by the time I finish presenting, I want everybody to feel, I want to empower every youth to take steps towards walking into their power, using their voice, and attaining their full potential. So in a Cameroonian society, as other speakers have said, you have heard such things like people are projecting their fears on you. Maybe they didn't succeed in Cameroon because they applied once and then they got rejected and they gave up, as Sandrine mentioned. But this is people's projection of fear, of their fear on you, and not necessarily, and you should be aware of this so that you're able to like know what you believe for yourself and not carry on other people think is best for you. And also people like to say things can change, it's Cameroon, that's the norm. But if you put your mind into anything, I assure you, you'll be able to achieve it. And people also say you're too smart for a girl, maybe you're in OD and you're like, why are you hustling? Like you just have to be pretty and your man is going to take care of you. But times have changed and like this is not the reality in the world at large. Now, what have you seen? Especially people that have grown up or people that have experienced the Anglophone crisis firsthand. You have seen women being raped, people being forced into marriage at 18, generational trauma, poverty, and women in power being chastised. All these things are reality. And something I really want to focus on is the existence of generational trauma. With all these things existing, maybe you are a product of rape. And like your mother didn't have the chance to heal from this rape because there were no mental health facilities or accessibility to mental health care that she could get. And so she has been maybe depressed for the most part of her life, and this has affected your upbringing. And so you might be unaware, like your characteristics or the way you behave in the current moment, you might be unaware of the trauma that you might be unaware of the influence trauma has on you. And so it's good for you to just, like, sometimes if you're behaving in a particular way and you want to know why you're actually doing this when you think it's not right, you could always like look back at your past and just examine things and see how you could be better, like take notes and all that stuff and do journaling and read more about things and just educate yourself on how you can be a better person overall. And now, what do you need to hear? Despite all the things I already mentioned that you've been hearing, you need to hear that. And I want everyone to take this seriously. You've got this, you've got what it takes. It takes baby steps. Read a lot and educate yourself on empowering things. Like as Sandrine said, especially you should write affirmations and take care of yourself and also learn to deal with your trauma. If you keep it aside in the future, it will still haunt you. So if you know that you're facing any sort of trauma, learn to deal with it and look for support systems that will help you be a better person. Now, I know I was about to ask this question and leave the floor for people to answer, but still, because I have limited time, I would assume that everyone here today decided to be here in this very moment. They made a conscious decision and intentionally wanted to be here. And that moves me on to my next slide, which is protecting your mind. Your mind has immense power to do great things. And so, like, for example, you deciding to be here today is you used your mind to actually make that decision and to weigh factors and to actually be here. So that is just a tiny bit of the kind of power your mind has on you. And let me read this quote. So the mind is a powerful force. It can enslave us or empower us. It can plunge us into the depths of misery or take us into the heights of ecstasy. Learn to use this power wisely. So if you are able to leverage your mind, I keep quoting Sandrine because what she said really is tied into what I'm saying. And so she said you could either take an experience positively or you could take it negatively. And if you really want to be successful and work at your full potential in this world, you need to take every negative experience and every failure you face and look at the bright side. It's not going to be easy. And I'm not saying that you should just, like when you're going to a negative situation, you should automatically think about it positively, but just try to look at your overall experiences in life through a positive light, and that could help you excel and go further. And now, when you pursue wholeness, these are all the things you'll be able to realize. I wanted to talk on all this, but I'm just going to focus on the circle, which is you place You place value in things you believe. You place value in things you believe in and support those things passionately. So as young girls, we all go through, when we're talking about development, we all go through puberty, we all go through all this kind of stuff. And we might tend to lose focus and focus on things that are not necessarily important. They are important in some aspects, but they shouldn't be the core on the focus of our lives. For example, as a young girl who is in Open Dreams, I might get a scholarship to study in Harvard. However, I have a boyfriend in Cameroon and he doesn't want me to leave because he loves me. And so I know that I love him too. And I know that there are planes and I could always fly back to Cameroon during the summer to see him. And so I should be able to know my values. And if my value is one, to be successful, two, to remove my family from trauma and generational and everything like generational trauma and poverty, I know it's important for me to take this opportunity and excel. And we could always meet during the summer. We could always talk over the phone. And so just knowing your values and focusing on it, no matter the obstacles or the things we face in the world, it would help us be successful and reach our objectives in life. And so I put all these different shapes because though I'm talking and though I told you my story, we don't all have the same route. So some people might get a scholarship within 3 months of being in Open Dreams, and other people would get scholarships within 4 years of being in Open Dreams. We all have different routes and we're all in different shapes and sizes. So don't feel pressured by looking at someone else. And so now when you step into your power, you need to have a dream, have goals, be ready for obstacles, prepare your mind and heart, protect your courage, and take a leap of faith.
Powerful one there, very powerful, Bemsi. I think, all our speakers tonight deserve applauses. I am so inspired as well, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm sure you all from the chats, because I've been looking at the chats and the comments, I'm so happy that you all are getting something from this presentation. That's the reason why OD organized it. I particularly love what she said about protecting your mind, because sometimes the negative things will come, or the negative challenges that you may face that will come and, distort you, and you'll be dwelling on them instead of thinking, long-term. Forget about the short-term things and trials. They are just maybe even a step to help you achieve these long-term goals. And so, yes, have your focus on your dream, have your focus on your future, and yes, you'll be able to make it and excel even if you believe in yourself. Yes. So yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So just to wrap everything up, I just want to tell you that we all have been served different cards, and if you play with the cards you're served, you're going to work at your full potential and you have no regrets at the end of the day. Thank you for listening.
Perfect. Wow. Thank you so much. And so we'll be cruising ahead to welcome our very next speaker, Mickey Limnyoy. This is the OD presentation on unlocking the immense potential for girls in this digital generation. We have a series of speakers that you noticed as well, and with the recording going on, so if you missed some parts, you'll be able to get it later. We have a Q&A session as well at the end for your questions, so please just jot them, and we'll be moving to the second to the last speaker right now, Mickey Limnyoy. She is doing a master's in mechatronics, currently in Ghana in the Ashesi University. Please, Mickey, go ahead and, serve us with what you've prepared.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Mickey Limnyoy, and I'm currently doing a master's in mechatronics. Okay. Thank you very much, Brenda, for giving me the floor. So I hope I stay within the time limit. So I'm just going to start my presentation. I'm going to start with an introduction, and then I will talk about the tools made available for us in this digital generation in order for us to foster our personal development, and particularly the social media. So before starting, I would like to ask the question, like, why is it as a girl child, why do you think it's necessary for you to concentrate on your personal and career growth and development? That is not just as a person, because this is an aspect that is important for everybody, be it girl or boy. But then as a girl child, why do you think it's important for you to stand out? Because whether it's the reality of your community or not, there are still people, girls around the world that are facing difficulties when it comes to acquiring good education, when it comes to pursuing their dreams. We are fortunate to be in this era where we are all being sent to school. From where I grew up, we are all being sent to school, girls and boys alike. But then there still exists people in other places, girls, who do not have this opportunity. And then it is your responsibility as a girl to the other fellow girls to stand out, to serve as an inspiration for them to know that because another person has done it, then I too can do it. And I'm going to place an emphasis especially on excellence, on being outstanding in whatever thing you do. Because if you're to serve as the light for which other people should follow, you ought to be outstanding. So excellence always has its place. Excellence always has a place to show for. And I'm talking about this because coming to the topic of digital innovation, we've heard about believing in ourselves, which we've heard about setting our goals, we've heard about dreaming, and we've heard about so many things that the previous speakers have spoken about. So when I was looking at the topic of digital innovation, I see this, or we living in this digital generation, I see it as a tool. I see it as a very principal tool for us to achieve all our goals. Now, I'm going to start with a very short story, which is a true story. Back then, something I experienced as a girl child doing science. When I was in my secondary school, I remember one time my physics teacher, one of my physics teachers called me aside and he was like, Nikki, I know you're very good and you're very intelligent, but this science that you want to do, I'm not sure as a girl it's for you. If you what he said is that he knows that I would do well as a student, but that because I'm a girl, it would be better for me to choose a career field in say business or something else. I'm not saying that as a girl you cannot prosper in business or those kind of things, but like he was saying that it's so he was trying to tell me that it's better as a girl for me to not do science, you see. And but guess what? I've always wanted to do science. I've always wanted to become an engineer. And this is where it's very important for you to find what you like doing so that people are not easy, so people don't easily get to sway you. It's very important for you to have your stance on what you want to do and what you want to be and know that you can. So once as you set your mind to it, you're able to do it brilliantly. So going straight to the tools that this digital generation has made available to us for our personal development. I was able to bring out three, and we are going to talk about the three for the remaining time that I have. So the first on the list is information. So thanks to the digital era, we have a lot of access to information, and information is a very pertinent resource needed for you to perfect your skill in any career path, in any career field. Now, first and foremost, even as a student, so I'm not even talking about people who are already working. First and foremost, even as a student, we have so many resources out, learning resources out there that can help us to better acquire quality education. Now, I'm saying this because I know that there are some of us in university, especially because I face a similar problem, who are not who are finding difficulties in studying, probably because of the educational system. But then there is information about everything you want to learn on the internet or on YouTube, on all the media platforms you can think about. We should leverage this information in order to better or in order to promote our education. And we should not even take our education lightly. Why? Why? Because like I said, um, I'm sorry, I'm having a message. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Mickey,
yes.
we can.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can.
okay, all right, okay. Let me go on. So I was talking about using informational resources for our educational purposes. So you should not limit yourself to just the material that you're given in class. In case it's not sufficient for you to master whatever it is you're learning, there are so many platforms online for us to leverage and become better at. Next, even in your career path or your career choice, whatever thing you want to do, and I'm going to give this example because I see people getting so much involved in this trading online businesses and things like that. So like my question to you, have you studied enough? Have you studied enough in order for you to embark on on a particular career choice? You see, now because the information we need to foster any career choice is available, it only makes sense for you as a person to invest your time, to invest your resources in studying. So whatever thing you want to do or whatever thing you're doing, invest your time to acquire the necessary information or to acquire the necessary skill that you need in order for you to grow. Now, the next digital tool that I'm going to talk about is communication and networking. Now, thanks to platforms like this, we can easily sit together as women who are passionate about changing tomorrow and share and inspire each other. The whole idea about networking is getting in touch with people who are of like minds as you are, so that you can get inspired, so that you can get fortified, people who can teach you to get to the places that you want to get to. So it makes sense if you want to be like if you it makes sense if you want to be for instance, if you want to be an engineer, it makes sense for you to network with engineers so that you can get ideas, so that you can get opportunities, get towards that direction. So like this is something that I'm sure most of us are already aware of, so I'm not going to emphasize on it. And then lastly, resources. Now thanks to like I mean like whatever thing you want to do now, because because of the because of the level of digital advancement we have in the world now, you just need to find the right opportunity. If you find the right opportunity, then you can get yourself the resources. If you're found in the right network, you can get the right opportunity and you can get the right resources to attain whatever goal that you want. So now I'm just going to give a highlight when it comes to social media, because social media is a very pertinent digital tool that could either be used for a positive purpose or otherwise. So it's mainly like an interactive platform where you can get to network with other people. Now, um, because I've said all the things I've said before, I may not go into details on how you can use social media in order to foster your career path. But because the information is available thanks to digital resources, I trust that if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, and the fact that you know that social media is a tool that you can use to foster your business, then you'll take it upon yourself to find the information necessary on how you can go about using it. So it's like a small homework I'm giving to each and everybody here. You should make sure you leverage the resources made available to us thanks to digital innovations to be outstanding, to be excellent, to hone your skill, to make sure you come out amongst your peers so that you can serve as an inspiration to someone somewhere who did not think that it was possible. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank you
listening.
so much,
So at the end,
Mickey.
we take the questions.
Thank you so much. It was a powerful session. I really loved what we talked about taking advantage of social media because many people use it for other things, showing their lives and all. Whereas you can use that to, brand yourself, show the things that you can do. I will assure you, many jobs out there, organizations, even schools, when you want to apply, they actually take their time to look at what you do on social. In fact, sometimes with social media, even LinkedIn, human resource doesn't just have any more work. They just go to LinkedIn and see what you've been doing, see, etc., and then look briefly at your CV and etc. So use the social media wisely, use it to brand yourself wisely. Forget about the demonstrating of pictures and places you've gone to and etc. Use it for good instead, and it will work for you. I assure you. I had a position. a series of positions even. I'll talk about that because I'm looking at time. I just want the next speaker to speak, and then our final speaker, which is our very wonderful Christina Kohlberg, our OD co-founder. She has a package for us, but just before she speaks, our last speaker is just going to go right now, Kalis Vishiti. She is going to be talking about leadership. Very briefly, she has 4 minutes max, and yeah, she is an OD scholar and a Shinaga scholar as well in Japan, in the Keio University. And yes, please go ahead, my dear Kalis.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry, I want to share my screen. Okay. Very sorry for the delay. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and good night from Japan. My name is Kalis Vishiti. It is an honor for me to be part of this panel. And before we move forward, I want to say a happy International Day of the Girl Child to everyone on the call, even to our men on the call as well. And today I am going to be talking about leadership. So what is leadership? Firstly, I've given 3 definitions. The first is to oneself, and the last 2 are to other people. So firstly, to oneself, leadership is setting and achieving goals, tackling the competition, and solving problems decisively and quickly. I would have loved to elaborate, but I just have 4 minutes left, so I'm going to move forward. And to other people, leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to act towards achieving a common goal. And leadership, which this is actually my most loved definition, leadership is the simple act of serving humanity. Well, these are some qualities that I picked up: inspirational, motivational, a clear communicator, a strategist. You should have integrity. You should be a good example. You should be creative. You must have clear goals for your life before the life of other people. You should be able to focus on yourself, and not just on yourself, but on your team as well. And to this very interesting slide, I think now to the females, I think these are some questions that we sometimes ask ourselves. So are leaders born leaders? Can I become a leader? Can women lead despite being in the midst of men? As a girl or a woman, is there a limit to the degree to which I can become a great leader? And sometimes we often think, I do not head an initiative or a movement. Can I still be considered as a leader? So coming to the first question, are leaders born leaders? I have 2 answers for this. First of all, yes. And second of all, no. So why I say yes is because, going back to my last definition, leaders are those who are people who serve humanity. And in order for us to serve humanity, we must have a value. We must be valuable, or there must be a gift that we want to serve humanity with. So because we are humans and we are all born with this unique ability, I think, yes, we are born leaders. But no, because your leadership can only be manifested if you groom the leadership qualities that were listed above. So yes and no. We are born leaders and we are not born leaders. Secondly, can I become a leader? Of course. of course you can become a leader, because there is something unique in you, and you can groom yourself to dish out that thing in a very magnificent way to humanity. So can women lead despite being in the midst of men? 10 years ago, or sorry, 100 years ago, I think this response would have been no, because 10 years ago, leadership depended on strength, on how you could fight, on the number of people you could attack and kill. But in our 21st century, thanks be to God, it is no longer the case. So it's based on your intellectual ability, on your academic stance, on the amount of knowledge you have. So yes, in the 21st century, women can lead, be it in the midst of other women, be it in the midst of men. As far as you have something that you can deliver, as far as you have, as far as you consider yourself a solution to a problem, be it faced by men or women, you can lead. Next, is there a limit to the degree to which I can become a great leader? Of course not. There are a lot of examples that we have today, and they have proven this. And they have proven that women can become just anything. For example, the obvious Oprah Winfrey. I mean, she's one of the richest, great leaders in the world. And we have wonderful people in the house as well who are doing excellent things, who are doing marvelous things that I think 20 years ago, our mothers wouldn't have thought of. So yes, you have no limit. Sometimes I used to say the sky is my limit, but now, nah, nothing is my limit. The sky is not my limit. I have no limit. And I'm sure all of us here have no limits. And you do not have an initiative. You do not have a movement. Can you be considered a leader? Of course, yes. You don't have to be the head of something to be considered a leader, as far as you're providing something valuable, be it even, let's say you're the last person in the group or considered the smallest or whatever. As far as you're providing something, you're exhibiting the characters of a leader, and at that, a good leader. So since we are all convinced that we can be great leaders, what factors can guide us to places where our leadership abilities, or where our leadership where we can express our leaderships fully? First and foremost, well, in life, I think there are three main aspects of humans: the spiritual, the physical, and then the mental. So all these factors fall under these three. So first and foremost, your purpose. You need to become a leader in an area where you think is purposeful for you. And this purpose, by your purpose, I'm talking about ikigai. Somebody mentioned ikigai before, which is a Japanese word. And then since she explained that, I'm just going to talk about kokorozashi. Kokorozashi, which is another Japanese word meaning heartful goal, almost like ikigai. So move to a place where you feel like your purpose is there. You should also be guided by your belief system, which is like a combination of all your spiritual beliefs and all of that. Next, you should be guided by your passions. Go and be a leader in a place where you're passionate about, because leadership in itself sometimes is not easy, and you need the inner drive to keep you going. So your passion, and then your goals, of course. Next, your experiences. I do not know how to I cannot explain how important this is. You should go to a place and lead where that the place should tie to your personal experiences. There should be something about that particular place that ties with what you've gone through, or what you're hoping to go through, or what you've heard somebody go through. So it should be in relation to what you've gone through. And lastly, your abilities and skill set. By your abilities and skill set, I mean your physical, your academic, and just whatever abilities you have to offer. And we cannot talk about leadership without showcasing some of the amazing people in Open Dreams who have been leading the female movement in different sectors. Well, I was actually confused which picture to place here, because at Open Dreams, we have a lot of women who are doing a lot of things, but these are the lucky ones. So we have Christina Kullberg, who is the founder, one of the co-founders of Open Dreams. Thanks to her, we are here today. And we have Melvis. She's leading Providence Action, which is doing amazing things in the humanitarian sector. We have Miss Brenda Tanyi, who is our humble host today. She's an expert in the public health sector and has been doing a lot. We have Basit Daphne, who has also been doing a lot in terms of humanitarian activities. So I'm just going to end my presentation by saying this quote: "We all can be leaders because we all can serve or provide value to the world." Thank you very much for listening, and I hope there are no questions for me.
Yes, we all can be leaders because we all can serve and provide value to the world. That is a very powerful statement. And just to add, even, I'm sure Christina and everybody that is present is ready to, with questions and things to add. But just to say that I liked what she talked about, what she said about leadership and the fact that we can go above and beyond the sky. Sometimes you think, there's just a limitation. We can only do this or that. We can actually do more as long as you believe in it. And all the speakers that have spoken this evening have, said it over and over. Please believe in yourself. There is a lot of potential within you. There's a lot of power within you. You are able to mold your own futures, your own destinies. You are able as well to drive change within your sphere of influence, within your communities. So believe in yourself and you'll be amazed at what you will be able to fulfill, I tell you. So we will be moving right now to our last speaker for the day, and then our Q&A. Christina Kullberg, our very humble OD co-founder. We see Mr. James Akaba as well, that may be saying something. Well, this is a ladies' day, so we don't know if he's going to say maybe one or two words. But yeah, Christina is going to talk about a good number of things. First of all, the International Day of the Girl in summary, and what OD is, what we have as mission, as goals, why we exist, our few successes. And yes, please, Christina, over to you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. This has been absolutely incredible. A huge thank you. And can we give a round of applause to all the amazing speakers today? I feel so inspired. It's just incredible. I wish I could have you all in my head every morning when I wake up. I could just hear, like, you can be a leader. Listen to yourself. So hopefully we can all use each other's voices and hear each other's in the head. So thank you all so much. This has been incredible. I've learned so much, and it's so wonderful to finally see faces to the names and the profiles I've been reading about. So a huge thanks. I will say that everyone here is a leader, incredible leaders. I am blown away too by how many countries we have represented and where everybody is studying. This is something it's very exciting for me and for Mr. Kaba and for everyone. But to tell you a little bit more about me and Open Dreams. So I had the fabulous fortune of meeting Blaise Bouma, our other co-founder, at the London School of Economics, where I was studying international development. And Blaise and I became fast friends. And when we graduated, I was looking to volunteer and spend some time in the African continent, where I had done a lot of studies. And he said, "Why don't you come to Cameroon?" He said, "We have a lot of issues, but nobody ever comes to help us." And I said, "Oh, I would love to." And kind of he spoke about his own journey, which I'm sure you all know well, and how he got support. He was really adamant about studying in the United States, and he got support from actually another woman, a woman leader who was volunteering in Cameroon for the Peace Corps, I believe. And she helped him with the SAT and the TOEFL and helped him get that full scholarship abroad, to which we met. Then he helped his sister, as we know, Sonia Bouma, I think she was meant to be on the call, to get a full scholarship to McGill. And then he said, I really want to help everybody else, but I don't have the time or the resources. And that's where kind of I stepped up and said, I'll help. And Hans, my now husband, said, I'll help. And then Blaise said, and I have the perfect person to run the organization on the ground, my amazing professor, Mr. Kava James, who we all know well. Huge round of applause for him and all of the work he does. And that's how we got started. And believe it or not, I truly can't believe that it will be 10 years next year. We started dreaming about Open Dreams and thinking about the name, right? Mr. Kava, in 2013. And I sent that picture actually when Blaise came to New York and the three of us were having Open Dreams meetings and talking about the logo and everything almost 10 years ago. So it's just so exciting to see how far we've come in 10 years and to see how the incredible work that our scholars are doing now that some of them have graduated, now that they have started their own organizations like Premier Dev and Community Vision Group. And there's just so much, eMentor, there's so many organizations. And someone asked today with Blaise, they said, kind of what are you most proud of, or how do you see connecting and growing Open Dreams? And I just think, and I know James would agree with me here, this has been our dream all along, is that we would help you guys find these opportunities, and then you would create your own dreams, you would create your own organizations, you would create your own change. And that's what we see happening now. And that is exceptionally exciting for us. And yes, one day we would love to see, incubator where we're incubating different startups in the Open Dreams community and different nonprofits. And I see that happening now. And I'm so thrilled to be here today because a big passion of mine has always been women's leadership. It's what I've been focusing on these last kind of 5 years. And I'm just amazed by everything that was spoken here today, because so much of it is this idea of believing in ourselves, right? Because that is it's actually, our oppressors don't want us to believe in ourselves, right? That's how they get to us. They don't need to tell us that we're not good enough if we're telling ourselves in our head that we're not good enough. Once we start doing that, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't get this job, I can't get into this university, I shouldn't study engineering, it's for men, I can't be a doctor, I can't be a surgeon, it's for men. Once we start telling ourselves these things in our heads, we are doing the oppressor's work for them. They don't need to be around us, they don't need to be putting us down, they don't need to be slapping us, insulting us, we are doing it in our own heads. And let me tell you, I have seen this with women as high as it gets. Literally, yes, internalized oppression, exactly, Marve. I've seen this with women who are, looking to get to the presidency, women who are, heads of organizations. Maya Angelou, she famously said that every time she wrote a new book, she said, that's it, they're gonna figure out I'm a fake, I'm a fraud, they're gonna say this one's terrible. Right? Some of the most successful women in the world have still dealt with this internalized oppression, with these thoughts that I'm not good enough, with this imposter syndrome, with everything we've talked about today. And just to be able to hear it from so many brilliant female minds today is just, I mean, honestly, it's just amazing. And it made me think we could literally have a session around we could have probably a 3-hour session around every topic we discussed today. And hopefully we can build that out in the coming months and coming year. But I think that's really what I want to focus on today. And I'm so thankful that everybody brought it up here, but I'm hoping that everybody here joining us, that you will really take all of this to heart and that you will really look in the mirror. And, there's a famous, motivational coach, Mel Robbins, if any of you have heard of her, and her latest books talks about this idea of literally, if you get up every morning and just give yourself a high five in the mirror. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not this, I'm not that, I wish my hair looked like this, I wish this, you say, I'm amazing, and give yourself a high five. It sounds kind of cheesy, but the research has shown that in 30 days of giving yourself a high five, that you can have a tremendous improvement in your personal self-confidence. So that's one thing I want to leave you guys with, that hopefully after this session, everybody's going to go in the mirror, tell themselves how wonderful they are, say exactly what their dreams are again, and give themselves that high five, and continue that this month. and let that lead us and guide us in our dreams. And I really also want to say that I really want to hear from all of you. We've had a few chances for you all to hear from us, but I would love if you could in the chat box for everybody to introduce themselves, say where they're messaging in from, tell us what your dream is, whether that's studying or working, and tell us something incredible that you've learned today and something that you're going to take forward with you, because I would love to get to know you all better. And I hope that we can, as a group, stay very close, united, and that we can have more of these sessions together, specifically around female leadership and the United Nations, International Day of the Female Child. So I'm so excited. I'm so thankful that you asked me to be here and to speak. You all, every day, you give me so much inspiration. Every day I wake up and I read the Open Dreams WhatsApp, and I'm just, it's my meditation for the morning. It's my happiness. It's my joy. And I thank you all. And know that if you are saying something mean to yourself in your head, hear my voice. Hear Christina saying, no, you're amazing and you're going to do great things and you're going to be a leader. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Christina. That was a wonderful, presentation about what we do and about, the girl child, believing in oneself and, taking advantage of everything that we have that has been provided already. And yes, I see Mr. Akaba has unmuted. I think he has something to say. And yeah, I'll just give you the floor. For Q&A, I don't see any questions yet. It looks like they're being answered as the speakers speak. So yeah, please feel free to lift up your hand if you have any question while Mr. Akaba is going to speak.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an incredible day for me. I just felt like I need to have a conference invitation next week, or as soon as possible, to go and speak, so I can go stand there on high and reproduce a lot of the lessons that I've learned listening to all of you. Yeah, it is incredible. And that's why I always feel that we need to continue to create more spaces where you can demonstrate your potential, where you can make things happen, where you can break the conventional things and go out of your way to change the world in ways that might not have been imagined. In fact, when I read about the International Day of the Girl Child, and after my participation in the program in the US, the Fulbright program, there was a lot more emphasis on creating enabling spaces for the girl child. They were talking to teachers. I said, I'm a science teacher. When I come in, I try to just balance my teaching. I don't know how the girl child is at a disadvantage, but they told me that just wait. At the end of the course, you come and tell me, you come yourself and tell me the areas that are weak or the areas that I'm not very strong in. So when Open Dream started, Christina, you're one of the, I always call you an angel. Angel, to have to invest in people's dream is not something just anybody will do. Somebody will sit back and say, I didn't go far. Why should somebody go more than me? To invest in these dreams, very few people really go into that. So when Open Dream started, every time we get to celebrating stories, we get to posting about people who have achieved, it soon occurred to me that a lot more girls were achieving more than boys. And it's just kept going on like that and like that. And in fact, the number of girls is increasing. So I started asking the question, what is it that the girl can do better that the boy cannot do? In fact, this session today has exposed a whole lot of them. Yesterday, it was about physical strength, the man. But today, it's no longer about the man. That strength is about the brain. And the girl child is endowed with so much. I think the first speaker, Mambo Joy, spoke a lot about that. From every speaker in the house today, there's just been so much that I've learned. I've just kept checking on the number of people, 30 people attending. I imagine how many people are missing out for not attending. As much as I see people like Dr. Gilbert Mickey attending, Dr. Kusi attending, Dr. Helen from the University of Bermuda attending. I just feel like these are people who have reached some very high level, but they feel this learning is incredible in order to continue supporting girls towards the achievement of the SDGs. In fact, there's just nothing we can do without girls. I will tell you that sometimes when I just sit at the Open Dream Center and I see the capabilities of girls, I would always look and say, but what curse came upon humanity that they were like at some point thinking that women could not do this or that. When I listened to Kalis who spoke, I thought Kalis from 5 when she was just very small. When I watched her on Open Dreams videos in Bamenda, you see somebody struggling in a difficult environment to attain full potential. Right now, I wonder if there's anything she cannot do. I wonder if there's anything any of you here cannot do. And that is the spirit that we want at Open Dreams. In fact, Mickey posted something that Open Dreams girls will overtake Cameroon. Let that happen even today. Thank you all so much. Not just Cameroon, the world.
Yes, we pray and we hope so. Thank you so very much, Mr. James, for that wonderful presentation, that wonderful speech. And for all those that are joining, I see Mr. Mickey Gilbert, I see Dr. Guanya Manuela, I see so many people, you know, some people cooking as well. Yes. I'm so happy that you all love this. I don't see any questions yet, so I'm believing that many, because I saw some questions at the start, but looks like the questions have been answered by the other speakers. So I don't see any questions now, and I believe it was a fulfilling mission. So I'm very glad. And take home message once more, please, ladies, you have the potential, you have the power, you have the ability within yourself to do whatsoever you can think or imagine. Don't let the past, like many speakers are saying, don't let the past or things that you may have come across hinder you or limit you, or people will blame the government or blame their parents or blame circumstances. Don't let those hinder you from, you know, achieving those goals that you have in mind. Just keep setting them, as one of our speakers said, write them on the wall, write them where you can see them every day and speak to them, you know, and pray about them. And yes, you are able to mold that future and, you know, into a better one and drive change for your community, for your sphere of influence and the world. Why not the world at large? So yes, once more, I'm Brenda Tani, your wonderful host. And I was very glad to host this session to drive through what we've been able to talk about and, you know, to get all the various guest speakers you know, bring forth all that they had as package on girl power and abilities, planning and organizing, believing in yourself, development and safety, taking advantage of social media and, you know, online ability. Sometimes even, I just thought about this, you can even study online, or there are so many skills, things that you can get, you know, from mobile phone, from your laptop. Don't think it's only when you go to this school or that school. Start developing your skills, start building your CV, start putting them in, and yes, you'll be able to, you know, meet that future that you have so much in mind and at heart. So I was very happy to meet you all, and we hope to see you also very soon. And yes, please have a nice rest of the evening.
Oh, Brenda, sorry, I think Marve had a question. Do you still have it? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah, it was just, thank you, Christina. It was just about a question that I had read in the chat, and I don't think it was addressed. I think it was from Agatha Suzy. And she said she was writing from Ghana and she was having issues with a counselor telling her she couldn't do certain programs. So I just wanted to, I'm not sure if she's an Open Dream scholar or not, but I think it is a good opportunity for her being on the call and dealing with such issues. We could maybe try to introduce her to some of the programs. And I just feel like, I just wanted to let her know that she's heard, and then there are resources available to help her. And then maybe she can reach out to Mr. Kaba at the end of this meeting to try to get some help and maybe some mentorship.
Yeah, she could also.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting that point. Sorry, Dr. Brenda, for cutting in. Yeah, thank you for highlighting that point, Maive. Yes, I read that comment, and I felt that that person would have been part of this session. If that person attended this session, the mindset would change dramatically. Yeah, Agatha Susi is actually an Open Dream scholar. She did have 2 scholarships. She had one to move to where she is now, and then had another better scholarship, but unfortunately she was already entrenched there. so you can understand where the issue is. Well, the good thing is that as part of Open Dreams, we'll play all the role that the person there is not playing. I think we'll stand a better chance of placing her where we have to place her, because, I mean, we just want her to get something far better than what she forfeited. Yes, so I'll be engaging with her. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. James. Sorry. It's beautiful to see all the impact that we're having.
Yes, most definitely. And please feel free to also write to us all on LinkedIn. You have our names and all on the flyers. If you want to get in contact with us or to Mr. Kaba or OD, please feel free. We are available to listen to your questions and your queries and etc. So yes, please have a nice evening and bye to everybody.
Bye.
It's a nice evening.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. This has been amazing.
Very amazing. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. James Akaba.
Thank you all. Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you for the
Thank
work
you.
behind the scenes. Thank you for the flyers.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So that's the person who's been doing the work in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did quite some cool work at the background within a very tight schedule. And
That's
we're so
interesting.
appreciative.